you actually ran an agency. So how did that go?
Well, my partner, Stacy, I used to work in semiconductors and electronics, and one of the things that they say there is vapor. Okay, how did it start? How did we start this company? Right? Why did it start, and where did we got there? So, running an agency. Why I had to run an agency first. So, in my previous jobs, there's a thing called vaporware, that you sell things that could be done. And I was pretty good at selling vaporware, usually because I knew I had good people that can make it. This was a different thing. And my partner, Stacy, said, "Hey, Jeffrey, I know you have a really good idea and all this other stuff. You think it might work, but shouldn't you really know how to run a private duty agency?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, no, we can do all this thing." Best advice I ever got. And we did it. And she says, "Look, I'm willing to wait a couple years to make sure we do it right. We got to make sure the software's right. You will not know this until you run an agency." Now, in doing that, I learned stuff that I would never have learned. I learned how to market better. The two-thirds rule came from that. Another thing that we came from is this tag. This is our tagline. And even though I'm an electrical engineer, I tend to have a penchant for sales and marketing and branding. And this is what we came up with, which is, really what we are. We take care of our caregivers, so they take better care of you. That's our company. That's it. I would have never discovered that if I hadn't run our own agency. Now, Stacy helped as well, doing it a little bit, the accounting. She freed me up to do a lot. But really, when you go to a client and they come in and you change their diaper and stuff like that, and they say thank you, never in my career had anybody ever say thank you. Even when I did Herculean stuff for them, it's just expected. Right? But these people are so grateful, including the caregivers. And it's like, wow, I mean, we really are making a difference, which is nice. So,
For sure. That's awesome. I love that you did the work. So you're not selling something that you haven't done.
yeah. Well, the other aspect of it, and you could attest to this, was how do you market? How do you get clients? Now, I was under the belief, like everybody else, advertising works. Advertising, advertising. As Yoda says, Yogurt says, merchandising, merchandising. No, it doesn't. And the reason why it doesn't, it's the why. Les Brown is always the why. Caregiving, the need for a caregiver in the home is a single event upset. And what that means is you might need an electrician or a plumber because you have a house or an automotive thing or insurance. That happens all the time. It's around you going grocery shopping. Advertising for that makes sense. When your mom or dad needs care, you never thought about it. It just happens. So when that just happens, that's the single event upset. And it may happen twice in your life, your mom or your dad or your spouse's mom or dad. And so when you do that, who are you going to call? And there's not Ghostbusters out there. So you got to go out and say, who are you going to call? Well, you're going to call a relative. You're going to call a friend. If you know a nurse or somebody in the healthcare, you're going to call them, a social worker. You're going to ask your doctor. You're going to ask your reverend or your pastor or your rabbi or whatever. You're going to ask people that may know more than you. So what we found out is that in order to get clients, and this is what and I never would have done this if I hadn't run a private duty agency. In order to get clients, you got to go where the fish are swimming. And the fish are swimming in home health and hospice. So we go and present to them. And the reason why we're successful, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy where all those nurses that were home health and hospice were CNAs in caregiving companies that got paid not very well. So when they find out what we're trying to do, we create that bond with them. They're like, oh, we want to help you. They become part of the mission. So if they don't want to help pay caregivers more, do we really want to partner with them? I would have never found that out. I would have thought advertising worked. We advertised, and this is what we learned. We advertised on SEO with Google, in print, I think we did a radio thing as well. We did all sorts of stuff. Zero crickets. I was shocked. There's a guy named John Wanamaker, who invented the first department store. And he always used to say, I know half of my advertising's wasted. I don't know which half. Now, luckily, with tools that we have now, we figured it out real quickly. And the thing that we figured out is go to the people that are going to refer to you. And the other thing that I found out in the marketing that I used to do, it's like global or national. This type of marketing is hyper-local. care is within a 5-mile radius of where your client is, period. And so you have to develop those relationships personally. It's a very personal business. So again, going back to efficiency, they talk about, we got rid of all the things that make it impersonal, automated all that, so we could allow ourselves to be more personal where it's important, with the caregivers, with our clients, with our referral partners.
That's awesome.
Thank you.